All right, in the previous lecture, we considered the theory aspect of the inner join statement or the inner join operation as used in structured query language. Now, in this lecture, we are going to go to our pgadmin and then we begin to work with our data from our database. Now, right in front of us here, we have the select query, which selected the whole record or the whole columns from our customer table. Now, we want to carry out this inner join operation on columns or on tables that has similar columns, that is columns that do match. Now, if you happen to check our customer table here, we have the customer ID. And now, if we happen also to check the payment table, we also have here the customer ID. All right. Therefore, means that in the customer ID, we have customers that has the same ID that matches each other. So now, for us to do this, we said initially that we have to select from customer. Right, we have to select asterisk, that is selecting the whole column from a customer. Then we specify the inner join by writing the inner join operation on a table which we want to match or to join, and in our case it's going to be the payment. All right, now we are not just stopping there, we want to say on. All right, on the column name which you want to join these two tables. All right, so from our customer, we have our customer dot and we want to join it in the customer ID. All right, then equals to then the payment table plus the customer ID column in that payment table. All right, now if we run this query, we are going to get a large record containing the join of our two tables. All right, it depends on the arrangement of our queries. In the first part, we saw the customer here. So our customer, this is going to be our customer table. And then at the right side of it, it's just like we saw in the Venn diagram, where the left part of it is the first query here, which is our customer table. And then the right circle or the payment is going to be the payment table. And now what we are basically doing is that we are finding the intersection in this customer ID column that matched each other. So the information that has been filtered out here only contains the data of our customer ID that matched in the two columns, that is our two tables, that is our customer table and also in the payment table. I hope that is clear. Now, basically, we may not just want to display the whole data this way. So what we basically do now is to filter out, possibly, let's say we are trying to filter out okay, let's check it. We have customer ID here and also we have customer ID. All right, so therefore means this is our payment table and this is our customer table. Now we can interchange this and make it this way: payments and then customer. Remember, we said that the arrangement does not matter when it comes to the inner join. So right now we now have the payment at the right hand side, and then starting from here we now have the customer table. Okay, now we can also change this to payment. As we said, we can also change that to payment, and then we can also change this to customer. If you execute the query, we are just going to get the same result. Now, we may just want to get the payment ID from here. So in our result, we want to get the payment ID. Then we also want to get that column for the customer ID. But in our case here, we have two different columns here in our results, and we only want to get one column. So for us to select a single column, we have to first of all select the table in which that column is embedded. And in our case, I would want to select the payment table. All right, that is the customer ID column in the payment table. Right, we may also want to select the first name and the last name of our customers, that is from the customer table. Right, so we say first name and then last name. All right, remember to remove this, then place this here. All right, so if you run this query now, we are going to get the result containing the payments ID, the customer ID, first name, and last name. Now, this is basically how to use the inner join when you are working with your query. And thereafter, you can further maybe begin to order by first name. All right, let's say you want to order by the first name of the customers, and you only want to limit to the first 10 records. Now, if you execute this query, all right, the spelling is wrong, order by. Okay, this is our result. Now you can decide to choose and remain. So you can just manipulate it anyhow you want. But basically what we did here was just to join our two tables, that is a customer table and the payment table, and then on a certain column which is a customer ID. So this is it on them using the inner joins in SQL. So thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you in my subsequent lectures.